Once upon a time, in the land of Idedu, a princess named Isoma was born. The kingdom was abuzz with joy when the child's arrival was marked by an extraordinary event. A radiant star blazed in the sky, outshining the moon for several nights. The kingdom's elders, wise in the ways of ancient traditions, interpreted this celestial sign as a prophecy that Isoma would grow to become a woman of immense beauty and greatness. Indeed, the child grew with such an enchanting beauty that tales of her allure spread far beyond the kingdom's borders. As a young girl, her beauty seemed ethereal, with her smooth ebony skin glowing under the sunlight. Her hair flowed like a dark waterfall, and her eyes sparkled with the colors of dawn. People were mesmerized by her grace and elegance, and she was admired by all who beheld her. Isoma basked in the adoration, unaware of the subtle but powerful forces shaping her destiny. Wherever she went, flowers seemed to bloom in her wake, and the air was always perfumed with the scent of jasmine and lilac. Despite the absolute beauty, the princess had a challenge that kept her sad most of the time. She barely had friends, unlike other maidens. Anytime she steps out to mingle with other girls, in a matter of minutes, her presence was usually vacated. The other maidens did not feel comfortable to stay around her, as they felt that her beauty was intimidating to them. She longed to have a company of friends, but she never saw that happen. Yet, there was one soul who remained unfazed by Isioma's beauty. Her dearest friend, Ebele. Ebele, though not as stunning, was known for her kind heart and gentle spirit. The two girls grew up together, sharing their dreams and laughter, becoming like sisters. But as they grew older, the difference between them became more apparent. While Isioma was courted by princes and noblemen, Ebele received little attention. However, this did not trouble her. She was content in the simplicity of her life and in the love of a humble farmer, Obumneme, who had pledged his heart to her. One evening, a wealthy prince from a faraway land came to ask for Isioma's hand in marriage. Isioma's parents, the king and queen, requested her presence. Upon getting into the king's chambers, she saw a noble and handsome man awaiting her along with her parents. This is Prince Odogu from Uke Kingdom. He is the son of Igwe Odogu the 13th. He said he would like to take you as his wife. The king said, "All right, father." Isioma responded indifferently, and immediately she took her leave. In the evening, when she went with Ebele for their usual evening walk, she narrated the incident of Prince Odogu's visit to her friend. "Why don't you just make a choice already?" Ebele asked Isioma. But Isioma laughed arrogantly, saying, "Did you take a good look at me? I am made for the best of them all. I am not in a hurry. I just do not want to settle for less." That is true, my dear friend. Unlike you, I don't have many options. So Ebele informed Isioma that Obum, her fiancé, had scheduled to see her parents officially pretty soon, and Isioma seemed quite happy for her. As Ebele prepared for her wedding to Obunneme, Isioma's heart grew dark with jealousy. How could Ebele, with her plain looks and humble background, be said to be married before me, Isioma? Besides, if she happily marries this man, I will be left with no one to keep me company during my evening walks. Envy twisted in Isioma's heart, clouding her judgment, and she resolved to ensure that Ebele would never find happiness. She sought out a witch doctor known for his malevolent sorcery. The witch doctor lived deep in the forest, in a hut draped with vines and shadowed with towering trees. The air was thick with the scent of strange herbs and oils. The witch doctor listened intently as Isoma poured out her envy and hatred. "I want her to suffer," she said. "Make her so poor that Obumneme abandons her." The witch doctor smiled a cruel smile. His eyes gleamed with malice. "It will be done," he said. But he warned her, "There are things you must be on the lookout for." "Don't worry, Ezemo," she interrupted the witch doctor. "Don't worry, sir. Once Ebele drowns in poverty, nothing else would matter. Perhaps, if she cannot take the level of poverty that she will see in Obumneme's house, she will return home, and by then, I won't have to worry about being alone." Isioma brushed aside the warning, certain that Ebele's spirit will break under the weight of poverty. She accepted the portion given to her by the witch doctor, promising to use it to curse her friend. By the next 3 market weeks, Isioma went to Ebele's home, where the wedding preparations were in full swing. She subtly rubbed the portion on Ebele's clothes without Ebele knowing. Ebele, oblivious of the betrayal, welcomed Ifeoma warmly, offering her the best of every food she had. "My dear friend, please feel free to have whatever you choose," Ebele said. Isioma smiled and acted very happy for Ebele. She stayed throughout the occasion and celebrated with her friend until the wedding was over. As soon as all the rites were concluded, Ebele's family sent her forth with a joyful sound, while the maidens of her family followed her to her husband's home, which has now become her new home, helping her to carry her belongings and all their gifts. Ebele and Obumneme were very happy together. As they began to live as husband and wife, Ebele was joyfully discharging her wifely duties, and Obumneme was enjoying his new status as a married man. Obumneme was a hard-working farmer who gave his best to earning his living. He loved to rise early and commence his farm activities before sunrise. One early morning, he woke up as usual to go to his farm, and Ebele requested to join him to the farm. "Dimoma, I would like to join you today just to be of help," Ebele said. "Oh, ezigbo nwunye m, don't worry yourself. You are my new wife, and I am not done with pampering you," Obumneme responded with a smile. So he quickly set out to his farm. Upon reaching his farm, he was shocked to see that all his crops had died. He looked around to see what parts of the farm were affected, only to see that no corner was left out. He cried bitterly, wondering what must have gone wrong. When he couldn't stand the sight anymore, he cried home, and to his greatest surprise, he noticed some dead chickens and goats sparsely dropped on his way home, but did not think anything of it initially, until he began to notice that those were his chickens and goats. At this point, he was in despair. He cried home and narrated this situation to his wife Ebele, but to his greatest surprise, she received the news with courage. "Dimoma, all will be well," Ebele said. She encouraged her husband, promising him that she would do her best to see that he stands again. Soon, whispers of their misfortunes spread throughout the kingdom. Ebele's family, once a symbol of joy, now lived in despair. Gradually, Obumneme found himself drowning in debts. Poverty clung to them like a shadow. But Ebele never lost her warmth and joyful disposition. She often visited Isioma, bringing small gifts she could barely afford, and showering her with love and gratitude. "You have always been like a sister to me," she would say to Isioma. "Your friendship is a blessing in these difficult times." As Ebele's kindness persisted, Something strange began to happen to Isoma. She noticed the first speckle on her forearm one morning while brushing her hair. Dismissing it as a minor blemish, she continued with her day. But the speckle grew with each passing day. Soon, they spread across her face and body, turning her once flawless skin into a patchwork of dark spots and light splotches. Her beauty began to wane, and her admirers withdrew one by one. Whispers of her fading beauty echoed in the royal courts, where Isoma had once been the center of attention. Isoma became desperate, seeking every remedy and potion she could find, but nothing worked. She was tormented by nightmares in which she saw herself as a monstrous creature, covered in spots and shunned by all. Each morning, she woke up to find the reality worse than her dreams. Her skin became dry and cracked, and her hair lost its luster. People began to avoid her, some out of pity, others out of fear. Even the flowers in her garden wilted and died, leaving her with nothing but dry and barren earth. In her despair, Isoma returned to the witch doctor begging for a cure, but the witch doctor merely shook his head. "I warned you," he said, "that if you bring evil upon one who repays you with kindness, your beauty would be lost." Isoma wept bitterly, cursing herself for her jealousy. She wandered through the kingdom, searching for anyone who could help her, but no one could. Her royal status provided no comfort, for she was shunned and mocked wherever she went. At last, she went to Ebele's humble home, seeking forgiveness. She fell to her knees before her friend, confessing her jealousy and betrayal. "I have wronged you terribly," she said, tears streaming down her speckled cheeks. "I have cursed you with poverty out of envy, and now I pay the price for my wickedness. Please forgive me, Ebele." Ebele, who had been tending her meager garden, looked at Isoma with tears in her eyes. "You have indeed wronged me," she said softly, "but you were my sister once, and I have never stopped loving you. You are forgiven." Ebele embraced Isoma, holding her close despite the spots that marred her skin. In that moment, something remarkable happened. A gentle breeze blew around them, cooling them and bringing a wave of peace to each of their hearts. Barely a few weeks later, signs of life began to show on Obumneme's crop field. Their livestock also began to litter in unusually large numbers. As Isoma continued to feel remorse, she woke up each day to notice a bit of clarity on her skin. The more remorse she felt each day, the more clarity she observed in her skin. The speckles on Isoma's skin slowly began to fade, and her beauty returned, not as it once was, but more serene and radiant. Isoma realized that the true cause was not the speckle on her skin, but the darkness that had clouded her heart. She spent the rest of her days in humble service, devoting herself to acts of kindness and charity. Ebele and Obumneme, with Isoma's help, slowly rebuilt their lives, and their family prospered once again. The kingdom, too, flourished, blessed by the renewed friendship of the two women whose bond had been tested and strengthened. This is the end of the story. What are your thoughts on this narrative? Have you ever seen anyone who seemed to have everything get jealous of someone who has just little? Please tell us in the comment section and let us share our experiences there. Today I have a humble request from you. Could you please click on the subscribe button as it helps this channel to grow? Also kindly like and share this video. Please subscribe to my channel, okay? And I certainly will be grateful. Thank you and see you in the next video.